Hey guys, I'm back for video 56 of 365. My name is Samantha and I'm a therapist, and I love to talk about how to help you manifest what you're wanting to manifest finally. And I love to talk about self-concept because that is the foundation of getting what we want as fast as we can get it and actually keep it. That's what I want to talk about, is how to keep your manifestation. Did you guys ever watch Seinfeld? And if you did you remember the episode with it's Jerry and Elaine, and they're going to the car rental place, and they took his reservation, but they didn't keep his reservation. And that's what he was talking about. You can take the reservations all day long, but can you keep them? And so I always think about that whenever I think about manifesting, because I just remember, I associate stories with different things. And so I just thought I'd bring that up because that's kind of how it goes. The universe kind of is like the car rental place. It's like it's going to take your reservation, but it's also going to take it away if you can't sustain what you know that you're trying to manifest. And so there's a lot of reasons for that. And I would say the first is self-doubt. And sometimes we think we have this vision, and then we let our self-doubt creep in. That inner gangster, like I like to call it, comes in, and it's like, no, you can't have that. No, you're not that. No, you're not good enough. Whatever it may be, all the bad thoughts that come in. We have to train that inner gangster and turn them into the inner angel. I don't know. We can call it whatever we want to. Turn it into the angel. Turn it into the kind, nice, loving person inside of you, the inner being, inner self that loves you instead of criticizes you. So you got to figure out, do you have this like gangster in you, or do you have this kindness and loving being in you? And which one are you going to choose to listen to today? Because if you choose the gangster, you're going to keep getting the same stuff you've always gotten. And so this requires a commitment to you to really remember that this is all about you. You're creating this. And that's so exciting to know this information, because you can take that information and go. Instead of letting the world kind of control you, you can control it. And so you're actually controlling your perception of your world. That's what's happening. You're creating versions of people in your world. You're creating a version of yourself that is perceiving. And so it's so fun to think about how you can imagine new things and they can show up. And I know we've done this a million times in our lives and just didn't really realize we were doing it. But you're imagining all day long. And I really didn't know that until, a couple years ago, probably. I heard somebody's, talking about that. And I thought, we really are imagining all day long. Wow. And so if we are doing that, which we are, then why don't we imagine something that's good? And so I think a lot of people don't believe in their visualizations. Like if you say, hey, visualize this, a lot of people are like, well, how do I do that? And how do I believe something that hasn't happened yet? And so you can have a lot of different ways of having fun with this. But one of my favorites is to imagine that you're with a really good friend of yours, or, just somebody that you love and respect. And you're having a conversation with them. And I like to pretend for some reason, I always gravitate towards this, like a lake house with a patio kind of overlooking a lake, and just beautiful, kind of in the summer or fall, depending on how I'm feeling that day. And it's sunny, and I'm there with a friend, and we're talking. We're just on this patio in the shade, and we're just talking back and forth. And so depending on what it is, let's say you're trying to manifest money and you want, I don't know, $1 million. I always say $1 million because that's really cool sounding. And you talk to your friend for a second and you say, man, I just made $1 million in my business. This is amazing. this just feels so good. And your friend is like, oh my God, I just cannot believe that you manifested that because you've been working towards that for so long. I can't believe it came to fruition. But then again, I can, because you've been working hard and you've been having fun and you've been doing what you love and adding value to the world. Congratulations. And then you come around and you say, oh, thank you so much. It feels so good to be able to do this and actually say that I did this. And then your friend's like, yeah, I bet. I mean, you're amazing. You've been doing this for so long. I'm so proud of you. This is just amazing. You guys hug, you do whatever. You just keep going back and forth. Congratulations. You're awesome. You're doing a great job. And that's visualizing something, but it's also having an inner conversation in your mind with somebody. Or you can also do, I think it's called the telephone technique, where you're on the phone with somebody and you basically talk to them on the phone. You hear what you want them to say to you through the phone. Or I think there's another one, and I can't remember what this one's called, but you can hear and see two people talking about you, about how, oh my gosh, I can't believe she or he manifested this. She's been talking about this, she or he has been talking about this for 5 years, and now they have it, and it's so amazing that they're in this place now. And so it kind of puts you emotionally into this scene. And I did not know how powerful the imagination was. I really didn't ever understand it until I started practicing it. And I had this crazy scene that I imagined, and it was nuts. It was probably 2 days later. I think I'd been doing it for literally 2 days for 10 minutes. I would set an alarm, and I need to get back to doing this because I forgot I had been doing this. And so you set an alarm for about 10 minutes, just close your eyes and just create a scene in your mind. And I did this with someone, and part of that scene actually came true. It wasn't the full thing, but it was a big symbol that I had imagined came to fruition. And without getting personal, it was just it was really big, and it was very weird how it happened, because, our manifestations don't really make logical sense. They materialize. Sometimes it's not exactly what you thought, because it might be maybe you weren't too specific with certain things, or maybe that's just how it needed to be brought to you. We just don't ever know. But it was so cool. I kind of freaked myself out. But we really are that powerful. Really use your imagination and play with this. Have fun with this. I took a note. Let's see. I just took a note a minute ago. Yeah, so there is no difference in the way you're walking around now versus imagining. So keep that in mind, that you're basically in your imagination all day. Your 3D reality is kind of like your imagination. It's just in reality. And so when things seem impossible, I have had many times in life when things just seem impossible. Near rock bottom, what you would call rock bottom, for everybody's, got a different definition for that. But when things seem impossible, or you're desperate, or you're just exhausted. Some people are exhausted from manifesting and from trying to manifest. And even just the word manifestation is kind of it's very overplayed. It's kind of like the word trauma. It's just it's I'm not a clinical terms type of person. I'm one of those people that shies away from following the crowd. If everybody wants something to do, if everybody likes something, I'm kind of I kind of want to go find my own way. I've kind of just always been like that for some reason. And I think that's good, actually, for me. I just gravitate towards what I like, which I very much recommend. But when you're feeling desperate, when you're feeling exhausted, just remember that is resistance to what you're wanting. And if you can just remember to go into your imagination, go into your mind, get quiet, get still. In the Bible, I don't know the verse, but it's be still and know that I am God. Be still and know. So it's get still And remember who you are. Know who you are. You are creating your world. You are creating your perceptions of your world. And if you remember that you're the one, you're the star, you're creating, then that should take all of the pressure off of you. But the reason why it doesn't immediately is because we're so conditioned to feeling bad and panicked and in grief, and we just can't. It's like you feel like you can't get out of it. You feel traumatized. I mean, that's when you feel traumatized by something. If you've had something happen that has re-traumatized you, maybe you had something happen and it reminds you of a feeling that you had during another time whenever you were really upset. That's what we do too. We kind of wire things together that really kind of don't belong. They're on a neural pathway in the brain, most likely, but we associate things with this and that. And, we see something and it reminds us of this, and we smell something and it reminds us of that. And so our five senses are very, very in tune with different things that we're experiencing. So what Joe Dispenza talks about, and what I like to teach people is you have to remember to let go of the five senses and almost let go of who you are to remember who you really are, which is just a powerful being. And when you forget the old self, you can remember the new self that's trying to emerge, that has been oppressed all these years due to exhaustion, due to trying too hard. I'm just here to tell you, you don't have to try to materialize things and manifest them. There's no trying involved. It's more of a surrender to who you truly are. The way to know how to do this is just get still. And that is very hard for people to do. We have the attention span of less than a goldfish, I think it is. And so there's no better thing to do than train your mind to focus on something. That's why I love visualizing. There is one of my favorite YouTubers. I love this guy. He talks about the leaf exercise, where you focus on, like, you're sitting there and you're focusing on a leaf that just falls from the sky. It just goes down and down and down and falls into a pond or a body of water or whatever. And you just kind of watch the water kind of come out after it hits the water, the ripples, and then count. He says to get up to 50. And Joe Dispenza also talked about how he reconstructed his spinal cord in his mind during meditation. He was able to do that with 6 weeks of meditation, I believe 3 hours a day. And every time his focus would go on to something else, he would start over. So I think there's something to getting our minds focused on something, really training our minds to focus on one thing for a period of time, whether it's 60 seconds. I would recommend starting out for 10 seconds, work your way up to 60 seconds, work your way up to 5 minutes, work your way up to 10 minutes, and 15, 20, no more than 30 minutes you would probably need after a while. But really master this. They say, you don't master something unless you have 10,000 hours behind it. And I always say to people, you can't get a college degree overnight. So this is something to commit to. And it's really worth committing to you. Take some time to really do this, because I promise you, if you put down your phone for a while, you do like what they call the dopamine detox that everybody's talking about. There is something to that, because we are very addicted to our phones. If you can put that phone down for 7 days, as much as possible, commit to that and use that time that you would have been scrolling to be still, be silent, go inside yourself and start visualizing something, start having a conversation. That is just my favorite thing to do, is the inner conversation thing. Just like shut your mind down and just start talking to somebody in your mind. And you guys talk about exactly, you can be as outlandish as you want to be, and just have a conversation back and forth. And you'll start to feel emotions from an imagined conversation. That's the whole point. The whole point is to feel good doing it. So if you're having a bad day, you're imagining that bad day, and you're probably imagining, conversations with people. So you might as well turn your mind, trick your mind, say, hey, come on over here, like it's on a leash. You're jerking the leash. Let's go this way. And we're going to sit over here, and we're going to think about what we really want to think about instead of what might be true right now. Because that thing is happening right now. This thing over here is happening right now. We accept that, and then we pull the leash and we say, we're going to train you to come this way, and you're going to start thinking about whatever it is that you want to think about, because it makes you feel better. And then pretty soon, if you're doing that every day, which I totally recommend, all day, every day, do this as much as you can. Have that conversation in your mind. If something happens that you don't like, say, nah, it happened this way instead. Then at night, right before you go to sleep, revise your day. This is a Neville Goddard technique as well called revision. He says to go through your day and revise everything. If you got up 10 minutes late and had to rush, nope, you got up right on time and didn't have to rush. And you just imagine how your morning went. If you had a bad day at work or a bad day at home or whatever you were doing, you had a wreck that day, or traffic sucked, or you had a fight with your spouse, or your kids were acting up, whatever caused you strife that day, revise it. Act like it happened as if you wish it would have happened, and be outlandish with it. Have fun with it, and go to sleep feeling those emotions, because you're training your body to feel new emotions that it might not have ever felt, or it hasn't felt in a long time. But the goal is to sustain these feelings, because this is what's going to create your life. We kind of want to be, not kind of, we do want to be on a frequency that is sustained. It's a baseline of, I feel pretty dang good all the time. And we just want to feel that way anyway, no matter if we have what we want or not. And that's the trick. That's what I really learned throughout the years, is like, what do you do when you have this, I don't know, it's like a really annoying little demon or something in your head. It's like what do they call it? A gremlin? One of those gremlins in the back of your head. Remember that movie? Those movies? Woo. There's a gremlin in the back of your head, and it's like sitting there, and it's like, I'm despair, or I'm resentment, or I'm anger, or whatever it is. Because I have felt despair so many times in my life. Like, that feeling that you can feel it in your gut. That feel, you might be feeling it right now. And if you are, I'm sorry, first of all, and then I'm not sorry, because when you're feeling despair or depression, that is like one of the best places to start from, because you know exactly what you don't want in that moment. You know exactly what you don't want. And you know kind of what you do want, at least. You know you want to feel a lot dang better than you feel right now if you're down in the dumps. But it's that constant gremlin there that's just sitting there, and it's always in the background. And so there's a reason that that's there. There are some beliefs you're holding on to that you might need to let go of. And so you've got to figure out, what am I making things mean in my world? Like depression, I've said in the past, Jim Carrey had said depression is deep rest. You need deep rest when you're depressed. Your brain is probably needing a lot of rest, because there's something going on that's causing you to feel that bad. And it truly is not what happened. It's how you're responding to what happened. No matter what it is, it really is a response that we're having, because some people can go through very traumatic experiences and it really doesn't bother them too much, because they give a different meaning to it. And yes, there are people that go into denial because they're protecting their brain, or, subconsciously, of course, not on purpose, but it just happens that way. Or they've just worked through it really fast and it doesn't bother them as much, or they've been through so many things that this is just really nothing to them. So every brain is different. Every body is different. And so our bodies and brains process everything differently. So, one thing that works for one person might not work for another, But I do know that we have to generate these feelings from sometimes nothing, sometimes from despair and depression and anger and resentment. Sometimes we have to, notice, hey, I'm right here and this is where I want to go. And so how do I bridge that gap? And it's just feeling your way there, just slowly feeling your way there and thinking about what you want and knowing that like you're almost right there to it. You're like just a parallel reality away from getting there. You're just like a few inches away from it. I like to think like that. I'm just a few inches away from this thing. This thing is right over there. I can see it in my mind. And how am I going to get there? I can't get there from feeling despair or resentment or frustration or fear. Fear is really big. Fear is a big one. I wouldn't say most people live in fear, but I would say a lot of people live in fear. Might not even know they're living that way. But examine where are you feeling fearful about. Maybe you want something and you're scared you're not going to get it. So then you automatically just like shut yourself down and you're like, I don't even want to try because I'm so scared that if I try, I'm not going to get it. And it's just like you're shooting yourself in the foot before you even try. And so you have to first start with this commitment to yourself, this conviction that the vision that you want is going to happen. And you're the only one that gets to decide that. So if you say it, then it is. And so if you say it, you just say, yep, it's done. Like it's done because I said it's done. It's done because I said so. This is the law of whatever works for you. Whatever you decide works for you every single time, whether it's working or it's not. And you've decided either or. So always make the right decision for you. And always make it in your favor. Everything is happening in your favor. So just decide that. Everything is happening in my favor. Everything is happening for my benefit. This is the fun part, even if the opposite is showing up, this is what I tell myself too, even when the opposite is showing up and 10 more crazy things happen that I didn't want, that still is happening for my benefit for some reason. I do not know what it is today, but maybe someday I'm going to figure that out. But slowly that thing that I don't want technically is doing something that is going to lead me to my manifestation. That is what I tell myself. And that has worked exponentially when I've felt not so good in the moment, when things look bleak. And what's funny is when things look bleak, it's almost like things start to turn around pretty quickly. It's so weird. But when you're at rock bottom, whatever that may be, just remember that that's one of the best places to be because you're shooting off those rockets of desire. They're going off all over the place. And your parallel reality that's right there, it's trying to come to you. The universe is like, hey, we want to give this to you, but you're doubting it. So we're going to give you more situations that create doubt. You're doubting it. So here you go. You get what you want, whether you want it or not. Whether you know you're asking for it or not, you're going to get it because you get what you are, not what you want. So who are you being? Who are you being? Are you being the self from 5 minutes ago? Or are you going to be that new self and decide that I am convicted about this? This is what I want. I am committed, because this is a commitment. You have to make the commitment to you. I'm committed to my vision, which means if I'm committed to my vision, then I have to be convicted in everything that I say, whether it looks like it or not on the outside, no matter what the evidence shows, no matter what my 5 senses are showing me. No, this is what I want. This is what I have. This is who I am. And I love I am affirmations. Everything that you say you are, you are. So start saying the things that you want to be, not the things that you've been saying. Say what you want to be. I am blah, blah, blah. I am blah, blah, blah. I am valuable. I am worthy. I am important. I am wealthy. I am healthy. Anything you want to say. If you're not healthy, start saying, I am healthy. No, the cells of my body know exactly what to do. They're intelligent. They know better than I do. Why am I trying so hard? The universe knows better than I do. Why am I trying so hard? we can heal anything. We can heal our minds. We can heal our bodies. We can heal anything. And all we have to do is change ourselves. Change happens first. Healing doesn't happen first. We change first. People do not know that. We change our internal world first, then healing happens in any form, whether it's mental or physical, or it's a relationship that needs to be restored. It's that internal change we have to make first, then it reflects externally. So always remember that. And that your mind doesn't know the difference. Whatever you tell it, it does not know the difference, what you're saying. So that's what's so great about this is you don't have to believe it necessarily just yet, but you will believe it after a while, because a thought that you keep thinking over and over, that eventually turns into a new belief. So keep that in mind too. And the more you do it, the more you're going to believe it, of course. And then, let's see, there was one more thing I was going to say before I let you guys go. I have a million things. Oh my gosh, I have a million things. Well, here's a good one. You don't need to change everything. Just change right now. That's a good one to think about, because I know that there's a lot of people that put a lot of pressure on themselves. And I know that I have in the past and still do sometimes, that I thought I'd be further along, or I thought that, I thought I knew what I was doing and I still don't have this thing yet, or this keeps getting worse and worse. What is happening here? And if you just remember that you're living in one eternal moment, one eternal now, because if you think about it, there is only now, because, okay, now it's now. Okay, now it's now. It's like when you ask what time it is, it's like, it's just now all the time. So if you just think about, all I have to take care of is my now. And all I need to do in my now is just worry about, what am I focusing on? Because whatever you're conscious of, that's what you're going to be aware of. If you're conscious of something, you're focused on that. So remember, what you focus on, that's where all your energy is going, and that's all you're going to notice. So start noticing things that aren't there with no evidence. And that's the part that, as kids, we used to do that. We used to pretend. Start doing that again. Use your imagination like you did when you were a kid and you thought you were this Pegasus flying around, or this superhero, or this T-Rex, whatever you were pretending. Or you were pretending like your baby doll was real, or you played Barbies. We did all that as girls in the past, all these things. Pretend like you're doing that still, because we did that as kids because it was fun and it felt good. You got to bring that childlike fun and wonder into your adult life, because that is just, oh my God, it's gone for adults. It's just gone. So have fun with this, practice imagining, and really just enjoy the process, because that's what we're here for, is to just enjoy our life. So I hope you're doing amazing today. I hope you're doing fabulous. And I hope that this helped you in some way. And if it did, let me know below, comment below, and let me know what really helped. And I'll be back tomorrow. And you guys just remember to love yourself, and that you are worth loving, and you are capable of anything that you want to do and be and have. And you can get there. No matter what it looks like right now, you can get there. You just have to believe it. And start believing it. Practice believing. Say, I don't believe it yet, but I'm practicing to start believing it, because you're just practicing your own beliefs. And that's it. And it's going to show you, watch what happens. It's super cool. So start imagining the impossible, because impossible, you know what that says? I'm possible. That means there's no impossible ever. So just have fun with this and enjoy the rest of your day or evening, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.